Coming up on 6:45. Now, let's be honest, a lot of us spend a little too much time on our screens.
So if your kids are in the same boat, we have some great ideas from a local therapist. I sat down with her for some advice on how to wean your kids off all that summer screen time as they head back to school. I'm here with Stephanie Langenfeld, who's going to tell us how we can help sort of wean our kids off of screens after summer break. Stephanie, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
So what could be the first step maybe in approaching this with your child? Hey, school's getting ready to start. How do you approach the conversation? And really, what is a reasonable boundary for kids with their phones?
When you think about reducing screens, you want to actually think about what do you want in your child's life? What's the ultimate why of why you would reduce, and what you'd want to replace that with, or what you're wishing for more of. Do you see them needing more physical activity? Do you wish they were more social? Do you believe they'd be happier with a sport or a hobby? And then talking to your kid about what they get from screens.
And really listening to your child, too. I mean, it's not just a lecture.
Yes. In fact, it's much better if it's not a lecture, because kids can see that coming a mile away and then defenses come up. I think that it's probably hard for the kids to admit to the parents because they would like as much freedom and leeway as possible around screens. But what I get to encounter, because I'm not the parent, is a lot of young people telling me that they find that they're on their phones more than they want to be, they're on screens more than they want to be, they're lonely, and they have increased insight as they get older into the desire to have less phone and more connection.
So what are some concrete things parents can do, besides the conversation, actual actions they can take?
They can create zones in the home where there's no phone, such as the dinner table or the living room, for certain hours of the day. They can have the internet turn off at a certain point in the afternoon or evening, and they can have a rule about no phones in the bedroom at night.
All right, so back to school. I mean, it seems like an obvious break point, right, for setting some new routines every day.
Yes. Utilizing transitions, things that are new, is a great way to set new patterns and behaviors. I would say be really realistic in your goals. If your kids have been on screens for 7 hours a day and they're going back to school, it's already going to be hard. So I'd say a gradual decrease at home rather than all at once. And then communication in advance is huge. So talking to the kids about the change that's going to be made, get their input, really listen to their input, incorporate it so they have some amount of buy-in and don't feel like it's just happening to them. Modeling is the most important thing with getting change in the household. If you're willing and able to do it, and even commiserate with your kid on how hard it is, or enjoy screen time together, you're much more likely to see the change happen with your kid.
Stephanie, thank you so much. I think you have great advice for parents as we move into this back-to-school transition. You try to get your kids off their phones. Good luck, parents, and thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you so much.
Great information. Yeah. I found it really interesting that even the kids she speaks to recognize it, and they're noticing that they're lonely. Yeah. I mean, for them, that's the first step for them to realize it, right?
And I know as a parent, I noticed a difference in my child when, you know, he didn't have access to his phone or video games. It took a little time, and then he was just so much happier.
Yeah.
Here's something really great, I think. Stephanie says it's really helpful to give your kids time warnings. So let them know the expectations clearly in advance, and then just give them warnings. Say you have 20 minutes, 5 more minutes, 1 more minute.
That's a great idea.
And then they're just prered when it's time to switch off those devices. It really works.
And I like the idea of the zones.
Yeah.
Right?
Places where nobody has their phone.
Absolutely.
Well,
nobody.
And modeling.
Exactly.
That's the biggest part of it, because parents, if you're on your phone all the time, what do you think your kid's going to want to do? Also, the American Academy of Pediatrics has a family media plan you might find helpful, and we have a link to that on our website, kptv.com.
So good. I love it.
Yeah,
Such important information.